Why should a 20-year-old like me start investing now when I don't need money until the future? So the question of why should youth be so interested in investing at such a young age when money is really not needed for the future? This is a very important question, and if you've looked at any of the previous compounding videos, they might give you a little bit of the secret. But suffice to say, the benefit of being young is that you have two major advantages: your age and your health. And for investments, we need a long time horizon in order to get the maximum return for your investments. Now, the rule of 72 is very important for you to understand. It relates to the doubling of your income. For example, if you have a 10% return on your investments annually, your investments will double in 7.2 years. If you have a 7.2% return on your investments will double in 10 years. So this is very, very important why you would get into investments when you're 20 years old or as soon as possible, even up until 30. I illustrated in a previous example or in a future example, because I'm getting a little bit mixed up on which order these are all going in. But if you had 100,000 when you were 20, and let's say you got a 7.2% return, that means you're going to double every 10 years. So at 30 years old, you're going to have 200,000. At 40 years old, you're going to have 400,000. At 50 years old, you're going to have 800,000. At 60 years old, you're going to have 1.6 million. At 70, you're going to have $3.2 million. That's a huge amount of doubling until you're 70. But you notice, you go from 60 to 70, you gain another $1.6 million in 10 years. So that's why it's important to start early so you get that later compounding at a later age. Investing young is so important to put as much money away as you can into investments that will guarantee you a return. As a youth, it's very important for you to consider getting into the market, getting into investments earlier, and start sacrificing now, doing some side hustles. Even consider whether going to university and spending $100,000 on an education that may not get you a job and just confuses your gender. You may want to put that $100,000 into an investment that will guarantee you millions. Get a part-time job at a company that the work you like is there, and they will train you to be better at what you want. So instead of spending $25,000 a year and making no money, you're investing $25,000 a year, making $25,000 a year, and getting a job and getting trained for a job that you actually really, really like. These are some of the considerations you should have early on in your life, and understand that the quicker you get into the adult mode of saving, taking responsibility for your life, and investing in the future, the better it's going to be.